The Sixers have lost 17 of their last 24 games.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 76ers. And I want to thank y'all for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now look, I'm Keith Pompey. I'm here with my right hand man, John Mitchell. We're going to dissect last night's loss. Mitch, what was the score? Like 114 to 105 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, It was ugly, right? Well, here's the thing, John. It wasn't ugly, but it was predictable. And what I mean by predictable was, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, about how I expected this game to be closer than what people thought. I expected the Bucks to come back and pull it out. The reason being is because the Bucks just came off of that West Coast trip, and they got in town. The game was on Thursday. They got in town like early Wednesday morning, what time it was. No practice. They get to sleep, and then also they struggled out there.
Yeah.
Little, you know what I mean? And then I feel like you've covered this league too for a while, so you know what it's like. That first game back off of a West Coast trip is always the hardest game back for you to get rhythm. And the Sixers had opportunities, but man, they did what they do. They blew another lead.
Yeah.
They found a way to I can't even say they shut Maxey down. I feel like Maxey just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Because he's doing everything. And the Sixers just don't have any hope, man. I mean, help. And you look at the squad, man. It's a shell of itself, bro. A shell of itself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they they are a ship lost at sea they're at sea without a rudder. They don't have the bodies, they don't have the manpower, and you're right. I mean, even it's not often we talk about a loss as being fool's gold, but last night's loss, the fact that it was competitive, and that they had a fourth quarter, a lead, headed into the fourth quarter, and they had a 10-point lead in the third quarter. They but you knew. It was all on Maxey. Like, can Maxey continue to carry this team in the fourth quarter? Like you said, he ran out of gas, and he played great. And the Sixers actually played well through three quarters. It's just that fourth quarter they just couldn't respond to Milwaukee, and like you said, they caught the Bucks at what is a good time. You get off of that road trip, a West Coast road trip. Your body's got to readjust to the time zones. Your body is you're playing in your own arena, but your body feels like it's like in Phoenix or somewhere like that. And I actually felt, I sat down before the game. I said they're not going to win this game, but it will be competitive. And then as it moved into the third quarter, I said, well, they do have a shot at winning this game. They could pull off a massive upset. But, at the end, Giannis did Giannis things. The Sixers aren't getting to the free throw line. And like you said, Maxey just, he was the little engine that could through three quarters. But in the fourth quarter, he turned it over to Tobias. Your boy Tobias showed up. I mean, people are saying, well, he came out of his slump. Well, he didn't score 2 points, but he also didn't make his average. So, I mean, it was just one of those games, where they had it looked like they may get lucky, pull it out. but it just wasn't meant to be, man. And now they, like you said, the struggle is real. They continue with all these games in front of them that are going to be difficult.
Yeah, I
Even the
mean,
Charlotte,
say it
even
again. Yeah, they
Charlotte,
got. Yeah, Charlotte, they got to win that one. We'll touch base on that one. But we look at it and we talk about how the struggle, so to speak, is real. I mean, like they lost 17, like we said. Well, they lost 17 to 24 since Joel Embiid hung 70.
Yeah.
70 on the Spurs. And the funny thing is, at that particular point, we're looking at this team like, yo, they're the real deal. Like you look at it, yo, they're really good. I mean, you think about it. That was the end. That capped a 6-game winning streak. That last game on January the 22nd. And they were 29-13. 29-13. And then all of a sudden, they go to Indiana. 3 days later, Joel Embiid injures his knee and he continues to play in a game where they lost 134 to 122.
Yeah.
And that was the start of the downfall. And then we looked at it where they lost the next game at Denver. He didn't play. He got criticized. They lost 111 to 105. Nor did he play when they got boat raced against the Portland Trail Blazers. And then all of a sudden, they go to Golden State. In the game that he stayed in a little bit too long, he lost 119 to 107. They ended up winning their next game when Maxey scored 51 points against the Utah Jazz. But, bruh, it's been a different season since then. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And, even the role players look bad now.
Yeah. And you can't go back and be a revisionist, but on that West Coast trip when Joel was looking at after that 70-point game, like you said, they went to Indy, they looked bad, and he didn't play against Denver, and I got the sense that he was really sitting out there. Denver was essential. The knee was starting to bother. The knees were starting to bother him. He wasn't. He was looking a little bit weary. And I almost was for that Golden State game. I was like, man, I almost felt that if I'm not, was that the last game on that road trip?
Yep, that was it.
I was in a mindset back then, and it doesn't mean anything now, but I was in a mindset then that they shouldn't, sit him out that game too. Get him back home. Sit him out that game, and now here we are. Joel is, still unavailable to us. Surgery, on the men from surgery. They don't know when he'll return. They think he'll return, but what kind of condition will he be in? And you're right. Since that San Antonio game, they're 7-17. And if I recall, right around that point, they were averaging about 120 points. They were one of the top scoring teams in the league. They weren't, they get a lead and they keep it. They were winning some tight games. But since that time, since that injury, it was 24 points, they've only averaged 107 points. We've seen them blow 15-point leads to the Grizzlies. We've seen them blow, to an undermanned Grizzly team. We saw them blow that lead against Brooklyn. And they're going to go back out on the road again. So I don't know, I don't know where this is headed. I don't know where this is headed with them.
Nah, and it's bad. We talk about the injury now. Here's the thing with him. I believe that he'll be. He's scheduled. They pushed it back. Before it was 6 to 8 weeks, so it's more likely the 8 weeks. So Joel can be back the first week or the second week of April, right? But let's keep it 100, dog. The way they look right now, I'm being real with you. Without him, I don't see them winning a play-in tournament right now because they've been getting boat raced, and that's my new word, y'all. I love that word.
That's your favorite. That's your favorite word now.
Favorite words. I'm gonna make it out of style. But anyway, so they've been getting boat raced by teams that ain't that good. Not boat, but they've been losing to Memphis, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Nah, like I don't see it, man. Like